It started as an idea, it became a dream, and now it's becoming a reality. No one foreseen it happening, it just happened. But enough of the chit chat. It's game time!
Do you like football? Do you appreciate good commentary? Enjoy the factual entertainment we call podcast. You won't regret it. Tim, the GOAT to Joseph. Bruce, QB1, Stone. Tariq, Religious Jackson. Ryan, Hot Takes, Lee. Reese, hat on backwards means business row. Together they form the football guys. Tune in while you can. They aren't on forever.
Clocked in, minds at work, stadium's my only church. IQUC, I come in first. NFL, I'll wait my turn. Brucey is the QB1, Timmy is the football nerd. Ryan's hopping on them takes, Religious Reek will bless with words. Last but not the least is Reese, he shows opinions over. Hova speaks his mind while staying sober. Spits his facts, come watch your show. Your hat is on backwards, you know it's for closer. You lucky they started the show that you're clover. Think that your brain is super, then over. Tune in while you can, you'll hate when it's over.
A very happy Wednesday to everyone. We are the football guys. He is Tariq Jackson. He is Reese Rowe. He is Tim the GOAT to Joseph. He is Bruce Stone. I'm Ryan Lee. As a collective, we are the football guys, and this is the Football Guys podcast. We like to talk about football, and so that's what we're going to do for about the next hour or so. As you guys saw in episode 7, my man Tariq Jackson, he came through with the hottest of hot takes that we've had thus far, saying that Christian McCaffrey is the most overrated running back in football. And, you know, we put that video out there. My man Reese put together that little nice edit with the why the fuck you lying. And it actually got a good amount of views and shares and all. And we appreciate everyone doing that because it's good for us, absolutely. And so, yeah, that generated a good amount of buzz. And so Reek today brought some more content as to why he backing up that Christian McCaffrey is the most overrated running back in football. So we're going to open things up with him so he could tell us why. You're on the clock, Reek.
Unmute me. Unmute me. I can't hear you.
You're unmuted.
Okay. Y'all can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, I'm first going to give all of y'all a chance to apologize before I start ramming y'all up. So, pause. I'm going to give you first. Ryan, you want to apologize? Or you still think he's the best back in your league?
I told you pre-show, I stand by CMC being the best in the league, but I'm always – hold up. He's going one by one.
Right.
I'm always open. I'm always open to hearing a conversation as to why I could be wrong.
Okay. Ro, is he the best back in the league? Yes or no?
No, I'm not saying he's the best back. I did say on via Facebook that he's better than who'd you name? Derrick Henry? I said he's better than Zeke. You said, oh my God. Yes, he's better than Zeke as right now.
Okay. All right. Tim?
Okay. I'm not going to say he's the best, but I'm also not going to say he's overrated. I mean, I value running backs as like the top 3 or 4 guys are interchangeable. So I can't say he's overrated, but I'm not going to go on the limb and say he's the best.
Okay. And we all know that Bruce, right? He's the best back in football right now, correct?
Last season. Wait.
My bad. I thought it
was my turn. No, I'm just kidding. Last season, he was the best back in football. But you know who I feel was the best back in football.
Okay.
Overall, you know who I feel. So we're not going to hide that.
Miles Sanders.
I'm a big Saquon Barkley guy.
Rex Burkhead.
Big Saquon Barkley guy.
Rex Burkhead.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right.
I'm a Barkley guy. You know I'm a Barkley guy.
Okay. Real quick before you open it up, because I forgot to do something in the introductions. A quick shout out to Eddie Yedman. He's really been He's been pushing our stuff out there. So we definitely appreciate that. Check out his Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's BFA Media, Brothers for All Media. Definitely give that a check out when you get a chance. Also, shout out to my man DJ Zoo. He hooked it up with a fresh T-shirt, and he said he'll be sharing anything we put out henceforth. Also, we're on a new platform now. We're not only on YouTube. We've expanded into Spotify.
Spotify.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Episodes 1 through 7 are available on there. Also, Apple, we're waiting on you because we're ready to go. We got 7 episodes. This will be episode 8, ready to fire off. You just got to approve us, so let's get to it. Come on now.
All right. That being said, let's first start with the definition of overrated. Overrated is to have a higher opinion of someone or something than deserved. So I say that Christian McCaffrey is a top 5 running back, but folks like Bruce, well, now I'm not going to say Bruce, but folks like others, well, Bruce said he had the best season this year, but you're saying he's the best back in the league. So the main reason why a lot of people say he's the best back in the league is because he had so many catches out of the backfield. He just crushed it. Okay, let me put you a little more context about those numbers, because Ryan said numbers don't lie. But we don't get the whole scheme of numbers, it is a lie. It's very manipulative. So Christian McCaffrey had 142 targets. The next closest running back was Austin Eckler with 108. Austin Eckler averaged 10.8 yards a catch with 8 touchdowns, and his longest catch was 84 yards with 42 first downs. Christian McCaffrey only averaged 8.7 yards a catch, which was 102nd in the league, along with James White and Mohamed Sanu, who we both would say had bad years, to say the least. He also had 58 first downs, and he also only had 4 touchdowns. So Austin Eckler, as far as catching the ball out of the backfield, was more productive with his less catches that he had, and he had more touchdowns with less targets. Now, Christian McCaffrey had 62 yards a game. Now, here's the kicker. He was the Yak King. He was best in the league of yards at the catch, but he only averaged 8.7 yards a catch. So what does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? That means that he's catching a 3-yard pass. He's making it 8 or 9 yards, which is not enough for first down. He's not moving the chains. Now, for those who say he didn't have help, it was all Christian McCaffrey. Let me give you some more context. His teammate, DJ Moore, averaged 13.5 yards a catch, which ranks 3rd to other wide receivers who had at least the same amount of catches as him, which was plus 85, which shows you he's explosive when he gets his touches. DJ Moore also had more first downs than Christian McCaffrey with 7 less targets. Meanwhile, Julio was 2nd in the league as far as wide receivers for first downs with 71 because people said that Julio was overrated. So I just want to put it out there. We want to put a little play. Now, let's look at rushing, right? Him being a running back. Now, he had an amazing year, 1,387 yards rushing and 15 touchdowns. Phenomenal. This is the issue. First downs. He only had 56 first downs, which is tied for 8th in the league behind Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, who were 6, Lamar Jackson, Zeke, Derrick Henry, Chris Carson, Marlon Mack, and Nick Chubb. That means that he's not moving the chains at the same efficiency as other top backs in the league. Lack of first downs means lack of ball control for the offense. Now, you could say, well, he's a home run hitter. He could get you one. He gets the ball one time and take it for 80 yards. Well, he only had 6 big runs. So big runs are 20 yards or more. He was 14th in the league behind Derrick Henry, Saquon, Kyler Murray, Phillip Lindsay, and others. Zeke, on an off year, had 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns, over 70 first downs. So I heard folks say, well, you didn't knock Marshall Faulk when he did the same thing. I'm glad you asked. Marshall Faulk's best year with receptions, he averaged 12.7 yards a catch. His longest was 57 yards, and he had 5 touchdowns. So he had more touchdowns than him, and he had the longer reception than him. The 2 years before that, he had 9 touchdowns and 8 touchdowns receiving, and his longest catch was 72 or 65. Now, rushing-wise, he also averaged more yards for 5.5 a clip versus Christian McCaffrey at 4.8, and he had 62 first downs, which means that he was moving the chains. So, no, he's not like Marshall Faulk. Now, I heard a person named Antonio Aquaro said that him and LT were the same person. So I said, let me compare his best year to LT's best year. So LT, his best year, he had 1,800 yards, 5.2 yards a clip with over 300 carries and 28 rushing touchdowns, which is more than
You're going to
CMC.
compare one of the best years in the history of the league.
Rushing and receiving combined by far. So no, they're not. They're not the close. They're not the same. Now, let's look at a running back who is known for receiving, who's being a receiver out of the backfield like Christian McCaffrey. His name is Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell, best receiving year, he had 83 catches, 854 yards, and averaged 10.3 yards a catch. Only 3 touchdowns, but 41 first downs. That's 50% of his catches equaling first downs, the same as Christian McCaffrey. The difference is rushing. Le'Veon Bell had, every time he averaged over 200 carries, every time he had 200 carries or more, he averaged 70 first downs a season. That's 25% of the time he rushes the ball, he gets a first down, versus Christian McCaffrey only once every 5 times, which is 20%. Now you got to remember, there's only 4 first downs in 4 downs in football. So 1 every 4 touches is better than 1 every 5, because 1 every 5, obviously you're playing the ball. Now, let's look at his historical. Let's look at his historical season, because it was a big thing of Christian McCaffrey being 1,000 rush yards and 1,000 receiving. So let's look at the other two. Hold on. Let's look at the other two that did the same thing. Let's talk about Roger Craig. And I know you, Bruce, you know Roger Craig.
Yes, I do.
Yes, we do.
In 1985, he had 1,050 yards rushing with 4.9 yards a clip and 9 touchdowns, which is 9 touchdowns, while having 92 catches, 1,016 receiving with 11 yards a catch, and 6 touchdowns. So he had more touchdowns catching and more yards per reception than Christian McCaffrey. Now,
with one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history.
Hang on.
One of the best offenses.
He also made the playoffs that year. Now, you would say, well, he had Jerry Rice. That was his rookie year, so all he did have was Joe. Now, I already mentioned Marshall Faulk. That year,
he Dwight Clark.
Right. Well, okay, that's fine.
John Taylor, keep going.
Okay. Now, Marshall Faulk, the year he did the impossible, they won the Super Bowl, and he was Offensive Player of the Year. So, in conclusion, Christian McCaffrey is a great back, but he's not the best back in the league. He's just the most versatile. All those stats don't equal wins.
I think Tim wants to chime in here real quick.
Go ahead.
So I just looked at your stats there, right? I just did research of my own. Christian McCaffrey has more first downs than everyone you mentioned on the list if you add them together. He has more than Zeke, more than Derrick Henry, a lot more than Saquon, almost double.
It wasn't. He missed the point. The point was first downs when you actually get catching the ball. I split them up separately. Of course, you're gonna get.
But if they're splitting up what he's doing, they all count together because he's moving the chains. He's just doing it in different ways. He's not Derrick Henry.
If you get more targets, of course you're supposed to get more first downs. You had 103 catches, but when you only have 8.7 yards a catch, you're not the receiver that everybody thinks you're supposed to be.
Right.
How are you supposed to be a good receiver when 8.7 yards a clip? You're not getting enough to get first downs.
Yeah, but a lot of those he's catching the backfield though and taking back.
Okay, so why did Le'Veon Bell have more yards a clip? Why did Roger Craig do it? If he's
I know the answer. I know the answer to this.
Are you going to say it, Bruce?
Yeah. Oh no, it's my I'm in. I'm tag. Okay.
Tag. You got it. Go ahead.
Ben Roethlisberger. Okay. First and foremost.
Go ahead.
Joe Montana. Okay. Kurt Warner, and one of the best historical offenses of all time. Okay. LaDainian Tomlinson went from Drew Brees, Hall of Famer, to Phillip Rivers. But he did put up numbers. Okay. Numbers. The year that he broke the record, the league was different, brother. Right? And you took his best statistical season, the best one of the best ones ever in the history of the NFL, right? And tried to compare McCaffrey's season to him. Mind you, let's just talk about this real quick. McCaffrey had Kyle Allen, okay?
Okay.
Joe Montana, up here.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Look at Ben Roethlisberger, like right here.
Okay.
Phil Rivers, like right here.
So didn't DJ Moore have Kyle Allen too?
Hang on, pause. That's a receiver.
Okay. You're saying he's a receiver. That's why he's so great.
Stop.
Right?
And they were loading the box also.
Exactly.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Let me say. Well, no, I'm gonna get this out for you. when you play the Carolina Panthers, there's one player you worry about, and it's the dude who wears 22. Only one guy. Okay, so I mean, I understand some of the stuff you said. I can understand it. Roger Craig played with a Hall of Fame quarterback and a guy that created the West Coast offense. Okay. The West Coast offense, literally, I mean, a lot of the throws that he got were on swings and on different like mesh concepts where he was basically running, angle routes out of the backfield, right?
But he was catching on the back row, right?
But past the line of scrimmage. If you go back and you study Christian McCaffrey's tape, I guarantee you at least 60% of the passes he caught were behind the line of scrimmage, right? So 8 or 9 yards a clip is a big deal.
8 or 9 yards. So okay.
Plus,
so you're
let me
saying
let me say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Me and Reese both knew this. We watched him play the Niners last year, and the Niners tried to stop him in a blowout and still couldn't stop him. With one of the best 2 defenses in the league.
Okay.
We had the best running defense in the league at the time. We did not give up a 100-yard rusher until we met McCaffrey. So we loaded the box up. We had the best defensive line in the league, hands down, and we still cannot stop him, knowing that we only needed to stop one guy. I understand a little bit what you were saying, and I waited, and I thank you for the history lesson of football. And we appreciate it. All the fans do. But we all know that it takes 4 down to get a first down. We know that. Thank you, Reek. We got to understand. And we also know that if you're a running back and you split out, you can be a receiver. The fact that he's a dual threat in today's games gives kudos to him because of the fact that he did it 2 years straight in which he had 100 catches. You're trying to split his production and say he's only did this. He only did that, but he did it both. And also not having help, not having any help. You say DJ Moore. Nobody's checking for DJ Moore.
What do you mean?
Somebody had to throw the ball, right? You're loading the box up. So he's getting one-on-one coverage. You're supposed to. Reek, as playing this game and being a receiver, you're getting one-on-one coverage. You're supposed to win. That is your job. You're supposed to win. So with that being said, you're now loading the box up, just like you said with Derrick Henry, right?
Yes.
So he's top 5 with Derrick Henry, who's down. Who they got over there? Oh, holy nobody as well. And then you split him out, and he's still getting 100 catches when you know the ball is going to him. And Tannehill had a better year than Kyle Allen. Are you serious?
So we really comparing Tannehill to Kyle Allen. Like Tannehill is elite now.
He is.
Tannehill got paid as such.
He got paid as such because he got paid as such because he's going to turn the football.
And who's going to still be a backup? Is Tannehill still going to be back up or Kyle Allen still going to be a backup?
Wait. Let's be clear about something.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna jump on a Tannehill train and be like, oh my God, Ryan Tannehill.
No.
But Ryan Tannehill was a first-round pick, right or wrong.
Okay, and he was a bust.
Wait, hang on, pause. He played in one of the crappiest places on the face of the planet until Tua got there, okay? He had no help. He had very minimal help, okay? So let's not do that to Tannehill. We're going to give the benefit of the doubt. He did win two playoff games, right? 2 playoff games.
He did.
Right?
No. Because of who? Because of who?
But it wasn't only because of Derrick Henry.
It wasn't. So when you average 180 yards a game, it's not because of you.
So let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
If they would have got to the Super Bowl, they would have won, right? Did Ryan Tannehill get a ring?
He gets a ring, but he's not MVP, and you know that. If he gets to the Super Bowl, he's not MVP. Yes, it does matter because when you're talking about the most important player in your team, you get MVP.
If they would have got to the Super Bowl, they would have played the Niners, they would have lost anyway. Okay?
Okay.
And the second thing, and here's the second thing, okay? If they would have got to the Super Bowl and they would have won, it wouldn't have been because of Derrick Henry. It would have been A.J. Brown or somebody else.
No, it would not have.
They would have stacked the box with that number 1 run defense, and they would have shut Derrick Henry's butt down.
Don't you think every team stacks the box against Derrick Henry? He gets 9. Yes, they don't. Why would you not stack the box with the weapon? Come on, now you know that.
I'll be
right. Exactly. So you know that. So with stacking the box, we're just saying Christian McCaffrey, they know he's going to run the ball. They know that. They do that to Derrick Henry every single game.
Okay. So you're helping my argument right now.
No, okay? I'm not. Because I'm not.
You know why you're helping my argument? Because A.J. Brown had a good season, right?
Yes, he did.
A.J. Brown had a good season. Why? They stacked the box, right?
Exactly.
Okay. But look at the difference. His team made the playoffs. Here's my point about Derrick. Here's my point about Christian.
Ryan Tannehill. He threw
Okay.
70%. He had a 70% completion.
When
70%, guys.
Bruce, I
70%.
mean, bro, when you throw the ball 15 times, I hope you complete 70%.
Okay, time out. What happened? Did they not win against the game in regular season? I'm sorry, they lost. They did lose against Kansas City the first time. But how that was a high-scoring game, correct?
Yes, and how many yards did Derrick Henry have? 160?
And how many passing
what
yards
was
did
Derrick
Ryan
Henry
Tannehill? A lot of people
before,
forget
Ryan
that.
Tannehill got
Ryan
there?
Tannehill helped bring that team back. A lot of people want to forget that. And Ryan
Yo.
Tannehill did well. And
Ryan
he led the whole city.
Tannehill
He had
is serviceable.
700.
But everybody knows that the
Hey,
Titans
Kyle
did well
Allen
in the
is
playoffs
not.
because everybody knows the Titans did well because of Derrick Henry. That's just what
Until
it is.
until
He's
they
the
play
reason why
Kansas
they
City.
beat them.
They
Huh?
play Kansas City.
Right. The difference
He was
was
dog shit against Kansas
the
City, and
difference
Kansas City
was-
doesn't have a good defense.
The difference was Kansas City got
What do you mean, the
a lead
playoffs
early
or on that regular
and the
season game?
playoffs. Because here's the
Okay.
difference. You look at the two games, when he played them the first time in the regular season, the reason why the Titans won is because they were able to run the ball consistently. Kansas City took an early lead in the playoffs, and you couldn't run the ball.
No,
That's
they
why they eliminated him.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. They was
They were-
down.
They were
They
up
was the only.
17. They were up 17 to
Yes.
7.
Yes.
When?
What do you mean?
Kansas
Wait,
City.
you didn't watch that game?
I saw it, and I saw that Kansas City took the
Kansas
lead,
City,
and they couldn't run the ball anymore.
Right before halftime, they took the lead, but Henry
Yes.
wasn't doing anything already.
Right.
Henry
So here's my point. If you look at Henry's games, the second half is where he does the most damage because he wears on you. But here's
So
my
what
point
happened?
about Christian McCaffrey.
He
Here's
didn't
my
win.
point. I'm not saying he's not a good back. He's a top 5 back. But when I look at a running back, I need somebody that's going to move the chains and control the ball. Christian McCaffrey cannot do that. I need first downs. It's cute that you catch the ball out of the backfield. That's very cute. But I need to get first downs and control the clock. That's why, and I was about to get to it, this is why when Carolina Panthers were 11-5 his rookie season, it was Jonathan Stewart and Cam Newton running the ball. They were the ones controlling the clock. So he's still on the team, but when you let someone else run the ball, instead of him, you go 11-5. But when you put it all on Christian McCaffrey, then they go 5-11, 6-10.
Time out. So,
Wait. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, here's a quick thing, right? Now, we all know, because we talk about, we talk about Tannehill, we talk about Kyle Allen a little bit, because they factor into this whole equation with Christian McCaffrey last year and with Derrick Henry. So we all agree upon that. So with that being said, we all know that Tannehill, right? He came in for who's that guy? Marcus Mariota.
Yes,
so
right.
what was the Titans' record when Tannehill came in? Did they have a winning record at the time?
No, sir.
But
they did not, right?
Hold on.
So you're saying hold on. But you're saying Derrick Henry was equating to wins. He was not equating to wins. If they had a losing record, and because if they changed the quarterback, the simple change of one position, which is a vital position, as we all know in today's game, pretty much Ryan Tannehill has simply
now hold on, Bruce. Hold on, Bruce. I'm going to rebuttal that. Now he's talking about Marcus Mariota.
Bro, give you facts.
Now he's talking about Marcus Mariota. You do realize that he made the playoffs with Marcus Mariota because of Derrick Henry and his resurgence second half of the season. And they beat Kansas City.
I have a question first. Hold on.
Oh, man, come on.
So you're saying that he's not a top running back?
No.
No.
Not the best running back.
Hold on. But he can't be there because of his dual threat ability?
No.
And he's not. Wait, no, you said
Go ahead.
his running is not as good as his receiving. Pretty much is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Okay.
When you look at Chris, go ahead.
In that sense, Lamar Jackson should not be the MVP because if you take away his running, his stats are very below average.
And that's what, right. And when Bruce said he's overrated, I said he has a very good argument because when you look at Lamar, you feel him running the ball and then passing the ball. That's the same thing with Christian McCaffrey. You don't feel him run the ball. You feel him catch the ball out of the backfield. When I'm telling you this,
what I'm saying is you got to put them together.
True, but you're not.
You have to.
Wait, hang on. Let me listen real quick. Let me slam dunk this for you, okay? Who are your top 3 backs in football?
My top 3 backs in football is Derrick Henry, is Zeke, Derrick Henry, and Saquon. Now, Saquon, you can give the numbers to Christian.
Stop. I asked you a question. I just went to 3 backs, big dog. How many of those running backs made the playoffs?
Derrick Henry. Okay.
Yeah. So with that being said,
also, how many first downs did Saquon have last year?
That's why I said if you want to say he's better than Saquon, total. I can't argue that. That's what I said. I let
Check this out, though. Check this out. So, and there was another one you brought up, Lev Bell, right?
Le'Veon Bell with the Steelers, yes.
Okay, but did the Jets make the playoffs this year?
No, I ain't making playoffs this year.
So check this out.
Not being used right.
Dalvin Cook got the Vikings to the playoffs, right?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you a question real quick. All right. We're going to talk about rushing and stuff. Okay.
Sure.
Derrick Henry's played one more year than Christian McCaffrey.
That's right.
He has 804 attempts.
You think so?
3,833 yards. That's 4.776 yards a carry. Okay. Christian McCaffrey in one last year, 623 attempts, 2,920 yards for 4.68 yards a carry. So for a guy who's not that good at running the ball, you're saying is better than him, he has a whole lot less carries. Touch that amount of carries in one more season. Well, and he's right there in the yards per carry. Okay.
Well, Derrick Henry didn't become the starter until 2018. It was Deion
why
Lewis,
is
and we
that?
both know that.
Why is that though?
Because they wanted to use Deion Lewis out of passing game, like y'all like to do. That's what he wanted to do.
You're forgetting a very key thing.
He was not the starter. No.
Derrick Henry's about to be a bust.
Yes.
He was about to be a bust.
Until you gave him the ball, and now look. You give him the ball. He's a volume carrier. He's a volume carrier.
I bet you any amount of money he doesn't do that kind of stuff this year.
I mean, if you're talking about 12 touchdowns, so over 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns?
1,500 yards? No. I didn't say that. 1,500 yards he had, right?
This is first year of 300 carries, get 1,500 yards. So if you want to tell me next year he gets 300 touches, I bet you he gets another 1,300 yards minimum. 1,300, probably 14 touchdowns.
I'm gonna tell you like this, okay? I'm gonna tell you that Christian McCaffrey will have more. If he doesn't, it might be all purpose, okay? But if Christian McCaffrey
here we go
goes,
with the all purpose stuff. Go ahead.
If Christian McCaffrey goes another season with 1,000 and 1,000, this conversation is null and void. This is dead.
What's the record?
You can't name. Hang on. You can't name
me.
You can't name me many players that do that on a regular basis. You brought up Marshall Faulk. By the way, last time I checked, he's got a gold jacket.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
LaDainian Tomlinson, right?
Gold jacket.
I think he's got a gold jacket too, right?
Roger Craig.
So what you're doing for me right now, let me ask you a quick question. Okay?
Go ahead.
Young and up and coming running back in Philly, and Miles Sanders.
That's right.
You know who he compares himself to?
Brian Westbrook.
Who?
Brian Westbrook.
Does he?
Yes, he
because
does.
In the offseason, he talked about how he wants to be just like
Christian McCaffrey. Yes, I know he did. I know he did.
Okay, so now basically what you're doing is saying the guy that you want to be our bell cow.
That's right.
He's never going to be good enough to be a top back in the league.
If he is doing where you're more scared of him catching the ball at the backfield than rushing, then no, he won't be the best running back in the league. He won't.
It's a different game, Reek.
He's not. It's a different game, but it's not getting wins. Like he's not winning
because it's not all on the running back.
Okay, so last year when he had Cam Newton, why didn't they win? Is he Cam Newton not better than Kyle Allen?
He's not, but it was on Cam Newton. A lot of it was on Cam Newton not performing. I'm not gonna say that Cam Newton had a great year. He did not.
So why is it the year before when they say, "No, what? Let you and Cam
and Cam was playing hurt." We said this.
Okay,
right?
All right.
We knew Cam was playing hurt.
Okay.
Cam admitted to playing hurt.
Can I say this too?
All that he still put 100 some odd. He still had 1,000 yards, 100 catches. So for a guy, once again, we all know that the quarterback position, which is almost the highest paid position, is your most vital position on the football team. Because you get the ball the most. If your quarterback is not producing like it needs to produce, you will not win ball games. That is total facts.
What's the number one position in football?
So here's my thing. So y'all said Cam Newton have a good year because you say he was hurt, right? We talked about that, right, Reese?
Yeah.
So in a hurt year,
you
said this.
Yes,
right. You said this. In a hurt year, he had his best completion percentage, 24 touchdowns and 13 interceptions.
And who were they completed to? Who were they
Christian McCaffrey, right?
Thank you.
So that's my point. So you're throwing to him, and we're not winning. But when we put up against you and Jonathan Stewart,
because you're not stretching the field. You had no one else to stretch.
That's my point.
Wait! I got to stat real fast. Okay, last year in the same amount of games, okay, Kyle Allen, 17 touchdowns to 16 interceptions. Ryan Tannehill, 22 touchdowns to 6 interceptions.
Wow.
He gets that quarterback and doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. You're literally giving the ball away, bro. The quarterback position is the only thing that's different.
Real quick, let's talk about one last thing. You keep comparing the Panthers going 11-5 with a running game. Okay.
Now we're quoting ranking to fourth in the league in rushing.
Right. Listen. What made the difference for that team was the defense, and you damn well know it.
It was only 7th in the league. That's it. They weren't.
They were
top
still
5.
a top-rated defense.
They weren't top 5. They were not top 5.
So what was the Panthers' defense? What was the Panthers' defense?
Huh?
What was the Panthers' defense?
I'm talking about
this year.
That year.
Yeah,
the Panthers that year were 7th. This year, they were last, which is why he has a lot of empty calorie stats because they're behind and throwing to him out of, and just like Dak Prescott. When you're behind, you get empty calorie stats. So because your team is behind, I'm going to throw you the ball more.
You also can't run the ball.
I'm going to add that. Huh?
You
also can't run the ball.
Okay, so you can't run the ball, but he has 1,300 yards.
Oh, the spiciness.
14 league in rushing. That's not bad, right?
I see
14 league in
everywhere.
rushing. So it's not like the Giants. What are the Giants ranked in the rushing? Probably bottom 10. 14 in the league in rushing, 1,300 yards, but you say you can't run the ball. So you haven't ran the ball good enough. You got 1,300 yards rushing.
So once again, you know what I mean? You forget there's a lot of other factors that factor into wins, right? It wasn't all Derrick Henry. When your team is giving up 30 points and you still win the ball game, it wasn't because your defense. It definitely wasn't.
What I'm saying is when you give up 30 points a game because you can't control the clock. If you get more first downs, it's not 30 points a game. Maybe it's 25, maybe it's 23.
Wait. Let's talk about something real quick, okay? The last 3 Super Bowl winners, right?
Yeah.
Did any of them have a 100-yard rusher in the Super Bowl?
No, but the Patriots, you look at the playoff runs, they actually led the playoffs in rushing because you know how to control the clock. Look at
because they had no choice because Brady wasn't playing well.
Look at LeGarrette Blount, 11
It also wasn't one guy.
It wasn't one guy. And also, wait a minute. This year, listen.
When the Eagles were 5th in rushing this year.
Hang on, stop. When the Eagles won their Super Bowl in 17,
right?
Who was their leading receiver in that game?
The running back.
The running back.
Okay,
but what do you average per catch, Bruce? Say it. What do you average per catch, Bruce? Over 20 yards a clip.
Because they were yards a clip. And then what was a swing pass that he tore up the sideline and made a big play on?
So why is it Christian McCaffrey doing that? Why? Why is it Christian McCaffrey running real wide for touchdowns? Why?
And let's be honest, as we talk about the Super Bowl, the MVP should have been Damian Williams. And he killed us in both running and in passing. Literally, with Christian McCaffrey is literally the league best.
But how many yards?
The game is
hold on. How many yards did he have that game, Danny? Was he close to a bean that game?
Yeah, he had over that.
Right, running the ball, controlling the clock.
I'm talking about both. He was killing us both ways. He was killing us in receiving, and he was killing receiving and in rushing.
He was. What I'm saying is I'm not knocking the fact he catches the ball out of the backfield. What I'm saying is that just him, is not doing it at enough clip to be productive. When you can catch the ball out of the backfield, you're averaging 10 yards a clip, then you're doing something because you're moving the chains, you're controlling the clock. That's what Le'Veon Bell did. That's why Le'Veon Bell was so special. He was the best back in the league because not only could he run the ball and control the clock, he can control the clock with catching the ball as well.
You keep forgetting you had either the top guy or a top 5 wide receiver, along with having Juju, along with having Ben. You keep forgetting those are key factors. Every time you keep naming these guys, look at their quarterback situation.
But who's the most important person on that team, bro? Who's the most important person on that team, bro?
It's a quarterback.
No, it was not. Because why? So why didn't they not make the playoffs when Le'Veon Bell set out that year?
And how did they miss the playoffs? They missed the playoff by 1 game, correct?
Okay, they were 9-7. Did they make it?
Actually, it was 9-6-1. They had a tie.
Okay, 9-6-1. Did they make it?
And they did not make it. They missed it by 1 game. Okay. So it's not like they had a losing record.
Here's the question.
And also, and guess what? You said, okay, they took away Le'Veon Bell, right?
And James Conner had a great year, and he still didn't make it.
And guess what? James Conner is not the same back as Le'Veon Bell, correct?
Facts.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Cool.
But so he fit the system, but it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough because he couldn't do what Le'Veon Bell does.
That's my point.
Okay, so he couldn't do what Le'Veon does. You put Christian McCaffrey in there. Do they make the playoffs?
Yo, let's talk. No. Wait, let's talk about this.
No.
Yo. Listen.
My hat gotta go backwards now, goddamn.
Look. Hang on, wait. Time out. Listen, this conversation, Reese, I am impressed with all the stuff you looked up. I am, okay? But the one thing I will tell you is you can't use only part of the stats when it's convenient. That don't work, okay?
What are you talking about?
You said you didn't give us all the first downs he got.
I did. I gave you the first down.
You gave us catching first downs. Like the wide receiver.
separate
does
though.
everything. Because
If you put it together, it's more than everybody else.
It's supposed to. Okay, so
that's one of the most productive players in
here's
football.
What he's missing,
bro.
because he's not.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the
115.
percentage of first downs. If I throw you the ball more, Bruce, you should get more first downs if you get more targets. It's not the same.
Let me perfect.
That's not true.
Real quick,
Tim,
just like
again.
Is Saquon Barkley a good receiver?
Yeah, he's a good receiver. He doesn't catch in the clip of Chris McCaffrey does, but he's a good
He had
receiver.
14 first downs.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I said to start.
If he was better, he should get more first downs.
I said if you want to say Christian McCaffrey is better than Saquon, I'm not going to argue because he does what he does better than him. I left that alone. I said
okay. So what? Let me do this, and I think Ryan has a point. Okay, so out of the three backs that you named, right?
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, truthfully, I think Zeke's pretty talented, but he's more of a traditional runner.
Zeke is the number one back in football.
I still think
I love Saquon, but I can't give you an argument to say he's not better.
Where's my mask at? Coronavirus that hit my damn that hit this podcast. Coronavirus hit this podcast. What the fuck is going on? Give me my mask.
Podcast tested positive.
Listen,
somebody's sick.
Here's wait, hang on, Reese. Let me finish, man. So look, oh man. So look, my point is that he's not going to go out wide and play in a slot.
Doesn't need it. Doesn't matter. He's actually done that. Hang on. But he doesn't do it like Christian. He has 73 catches, but he doesn't need to. That like doesn't equivalent wins, man.
Wait, you're helping my point even more. Hang on for a second. Okay? So he doesn't do that. Barkley really does it once in a while, not a lot, right? Okay? Christian McCaffrey literally does everything for that team. Everything. Okay? So you can go and make the argument he's not the number one running back in the league. But you know what he is? He's one of the best players in football.
Okay, you can say he's one of the best players in football, but he's not the best running back in the league because the most important thing about a running back is running the ball. That's what you're missing. It's running the ball.
One more thing. Me and Ro were talking about this earlier. Look up the last great running back to win the Super Bowl.
Thank you.
That's not the
Joel
argument.
Bettis is pretty good, but
that's not the argument.
Argument.
The argument is
saying
not
running. You said running
equates to wins.
To winning.
It
does. Who was the last great running back to win? Was it Marshall Faulk?
Probably Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch.
And that depends how you feel about him, because I think he's a step below like guys like he's not a Hall of Famer.
No. But he was the first featured back to win a thing in a long, long time. He's the only one.
Gotcha.
My point is.
So real quick, because I've been pretty silent throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, you have.
I hear you say, because I just wanted to take this in because me and Reek are on two opposite ends of two different debates, and I'm going to tie in the other one a little bit now. Julio Jones, I hear you say that you're going by Christian McCaffrey's first down percentage, but when I brought up the touchdown percentage of Julio Jones, you didn't want to hear that argument, and you didn't want to play into that. So now when you're arguing that Christian McCaffrey, that he's not the best running back in football because of his first down percentage, how can you just ignore Julio Jones' touchdown percentage on the opposite end?
And I will tell you again, you cannot compare a wide receiver to a running back. Because
I'm not comparing a wide receiver to a running back. I'm comparing the acknowledgement of stats.
Because the wide receiver is a dependent position. I can't catch what you don't throw me. If you don't throw me the ball in the red zone, I can't catch red zone touchdowns. What are you talking about?
You did that earlier. You did it earlier.
Wait.
Christian McCaffrey stats to receivers.
Wait.
Yes, because you're always saying that is the reason why he's the best, because he can be a receiver. That's the point. That's what y'all was saying.
Ryan, first of all, our esteemed colleague, Mr. Ryan over here, Mr. Hot Takes, he has a really good point, right? So Julio Jones, the whole thing with the Julio Jones and the touchdown percentage, right? That wasn't a big deal, right? You just said that it was a dependent position, correct?
Correct. Yes, it is.
So did the 5 people in front of Christian McCaffrey got a block for him to be an elite running back in the league?
No, hell no. No, they don't got to do anything.
They just do that. The only running back that did that, let me tell you something. He wore number 20 in Detroit a bunch of years ago. He was the only one that didn't need an offensive line.
Let me ask you a question. Rebuttal that. Can a wide receiver get 20 catches a game like a running back gets 20 touches?
That's a totally different thing.
How?
What do you mean 20 touches?
That's
Is
the
that
that's
Even if he gets 20,
say
no,
20
wait.
touches?
Even
Is
if he
that
gets 20
carries
touches,
or is that
there's no
receiving?
20 carries, whatever you want. My point is, you get the running back the ball more. It's
Wait a
not.
minute.
It's not the same as a wide receiver.
Not true.
What do you mean?
That's not true. You know
It's
why that's
still
not
reliable. It's still a dependable position.
It's not. It's
It's
not.
depending on
platform.
5-6 guys. You're depending
What
on
do
the
you?
quarterback
If
that
I
hands
give you the ball,
you're
you
depending
can
on
make
your
it work.
offensive
Now
lineman
you just said
to block
Barry
for you.
Sanders made it work without having a line.
He made it work.
You not to get the ball.
Did he win a playoff game? I don't even think he won a playoff game.
They did win a playoff game.
Yeah, they won a playoff game.
They did win a playoff game.
Yeah, they won a playoff game.
One?
They won a playoff game. He's made the playoffs. He's won the division.
Yes.
You
Yes.
cannot compare when a running back gets 20 carries, touches every game to a receiver getting like 5 to 10 if they're getting targets.
Just real quick. As you said touches, and I'm glad you actually said that, right? So today's game, we all know is different. You know, we know it's a more high-powered offense, right? We're all in congruence on that, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you have a superstar and you have a playmaker, you're trying to get the ball in the playmaker's hand, right? No matter what position he plays.
I agree.
Correct?
Right.
So you say that. My thing is Christian McCaffrey, especially last year, production, receiving, and rushing had more yards than anybody out of the running back position. Touches. That's the key thing you said was touches.
That's
so they're
right.
trying to put the ball in this man's hand.
That's
and
right.
he produced with less.
He's not producing enough. That is the point.
You're trying to so
On a bad football team.
So you're trying to say he
bad
needs to have
football
more. Yo, Reek, he produced 2,400 yards. You saying he needs to produce 3,000?
What I'm saying to you is he did not do it at enough clip to make a difference in a game. When you're only averaging 8.7 yards a clip per catch, it's not enough out of the backfield. It's not. That's why they're not equivalent wins.
Why is it not enough, Reek?
Because you're not controlling the ball enough. You need enough first downs to do that.
Let's try this. Let's try this. Hey, Tim, I need a favor, Tim.
Yeah. Please. Oh, jeez.
Can you look up LaDainian Tomlinson's yards per catch? Because I'm curious, because here's my thing, right? You're acting like 8 yards on a swing pass. Isn't a big deal in the NFL.
That's a big deal.
Listen, hold up. You can't use the stats when they're convenient to your argument. Now, listen, I'll give you credit for doing a lot of research. And I think some of the stuff, okay, there's a valid argument with some of the stuff. But I'm going to tell you like this. We're going to be doing this. We're going to hang around. I think we're pretty good at this, okay? So what I'm going to tell you is that when the season gets here, God willing, we get to see one, right?
We will.
And Christian McCaffrey with a new coach, who, by the way, is going to be a very good coach in the NFL.
Yes, he is.
You're welcome, Ryan. So Matt Rule is going to be a very good coach, right? But a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, who kind of controls the game similar to Matt Tannehill, right or wrong.
To Ryan Tannehill, but I got you.
Oh, geez, Ryan Tannehill, whatever. You got me fired up. My blood pressure's
fired him up. Got him fired up.
I got you.
Anyway, I'm Matt Tannehill. Geez, that's bad. Anyway, listen, okay? The fact of the matter is that McCaffrey is still going to be one of the best players in football. He's still going to be a top.
I'm not going to say he's a better. He's good. He's a good player. I just say he's not the best back. Now you said LT.
So if
I have that number.
But
for
he's
you,
produced more than every back you named last year. He produced more. So you're telling him to do more.
I want to hear his stats.
Team, but the rest of the team didn't produce.
I want to hear his stats.
So
there. What's that?
Yeah, I have it. I have it for you myself. I looked it up for you.
Go ahead.
So his best year is only 9.1 yards a catch. Now, here's why I said it's an issue with Christian McCaffrey, because LT only had 56 catches. But when you throw to Christian McCaffrey 142 times and you only have 8.7, it's not enough. You're throwing it too much.
Wait. He had 143
targets.
No, targets.
142 targets, 103 receptions.
So my point is this: you're throwing it
116 receptions.
Right. Your point, 116. You're throwing it too much to him. That's
because there's nobody else to throw to. There's nobody else to throw to. They have nobody on the team. DJ Moore is ass guy.
Wait, I got
no Pro Bowl experience. No.
Bro, I just told you. Hold on. If I took the name DJ Moore out of it, and I told you someone had 87 catches, 1,100 yards, would you say that a bad season?
1,100 yards?
1,100 yards, 87 catches. Is that a bad season?
How many touchdowns?
5.
Yep. You know why? Because we say that about Odell Beckham. That's why.
That's Julio Jones-esque.
You see what I'm saying? We say that literally by Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham, if we talking about, I don't want to get into receiver talk, but we say Odell Beckham had a down year last year, right? He had very similar numbers. So yes, we will say yes. Didn't have a good year. We said it about Odell Beckham. We literally have said that about Odell Beckham. People have said that about Odell Beckham. Have had a down year last year.
It's not a great year. It's a serviceable year.
Wait, 1,100 yards, 87 catches, serviceable year. Name the last Eagle that had that, Ryan.
Only
the last Eagle that had Ryan. Jeremy Macklin. That's it.
Okay,
I'll take that from my receivers right now.
Let me ask. Let me just check something. Let me just check something. Besides DJ Moore, who ran against literally single coverage, and the funny part about it was when, the number 22, he stretched out. That number one corner, I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 times walked over across the field to cover the speedy dude in the slot.
So you think the number one corner went to the running back?
It would not shock me.
I need to see that on tape. I need to see that on tape.
If you watch McCaffrey's highlights from this year too, he actually drew triple coverage on multiple occasions.
I'm not saying triple coverage.
And still produced.
He said the number one corner went to the running back.
I said it wouldn't
absolutely.
That wouldn't shock me at all.
It wouldn't shock me.
He's the best weapon on the offensive side of the ball for the Panthers.
DJ Moore is not that talented. He's
not
good.
that talented.
He's not great.
He's not. He's not.
Oh
my God.
It's only his second year in the league.
Better question. Okay, great.
He has 87 catches, 500 yards.
It's McCaffrey's third year. Now do me a favor, and I'll expose to everybody. Besides Curtis Samuel, name me another receiver on the Carolina Panthers.
I couldn't.
You just named the top two. We're not Panthers fans.
I'm asking you a question.
I don't know.
They're irrelevant. They're like the last man drafted. They're Mr. Irrelevant.
What do you mean? Wait,
you don't give a shit.
Listen,
you don't
wait,
give
hang on, stop. I'm not. Listen, that's cool. You're right. I'm not a Vikings fan. I can name probably 3 of their receivers. I'm not a Jets fan. I can name their receivers. I'm not a Bills fan. I can name their receivers. Raiders, sure.
Hold on. You're going to compare the Jets. You're going to compare the Jets receivers to the Carolina Panthers. Who had a better year, Robbie Anderson or DJ Moore? DJ Moore.
I'm not standing in front of them. Okay.
All right.
I didn't compare. Wait, stop. I didn't compare them. Don't do that. I'm telling you that you're saying I can't name them. If they were relevant, I'd be able to name them. Okay? I can't. And I'm not trying to disrespect the Panthers, but it's a fact.
I'm sorry, Panthers. I am.
Who are the Jets receivers outside of Robbie Anderson that actually did something relevant?
And guess what? The Jets didn't make the playoffs
I give you Jamison Crowder out the slot. Jamison Crowder. That was their most efficient guy. Jamison Crowder out the slot.
I can name 2 of them.
They got Denzel Mims in the draft this year, so.
I'm not talking about Denzel Mims. We were talking about last year.
They had Quincy.
And Negua, who wasn't he hurt every other week?
But I can still
you asked me the name. You asked me the name. I didn't say the production was great.
Exactly.
Fantasy football. That's why you know the names. Fantasy football.
Oh my
God. Waiver wire pickups. Waiver wire pickups. That's why you know Quincy. Don't lie.
Why you want to attack our football intelligence now?
Hold on. Listen, let's do this, Reek. Listen, I better not see not one fantasy team of yours with Christian McCaffrey on the squad.
Oh, listen, he can give me a chip. I'm cool with that. Okay. I said that. I said empty calories. Just like Dak Prescott could have won somebody a chip last year. It's not getting wins in the league.
I don't understand how you can, in the same breath, you could say that Christian McCaffrey's empty calories and then say that Saquon Barkley's better than him. Because Saquon Barkley is the prime definition in the NFL, modern day NFL of empty calories.
I said, if you want to say he's better than Saquon, I'm not going to argue that. I said I would rather have Saquon. But if you're saying me that Christian McCaffrey is better than him, I'm not going to fight you on that because Saquon don't have the numbers. That's what I said.
But is Nick Chubb better than him?
Is Nick Chubb better than who? Christian McCaffrey? No, he's only done it 1 year. I think I'll see another year.
Is Dalvin Cook better than him?
He's close.
Ooh,
he's close.
Wow.
That's the only one I'm willing to hear a true conversation
about. If he does what he did again this year, you're going to have a different argument because Dalvin Cook made the playoffs. And he was a reason,
I agree.
An intricate part of why they made the playoffs.
Oh, my God. You guys forgetting.
They got 2 elite receivers.
Yes.
Okay.
That takes pressure.
Okay. So what I'm saying is this year he don't have Diggs. So if he does it again, is that not a good argument?
He got Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson Diggs now?
Who hasn't played a single down in the NFL yet, so you don't know what he is.
But you still have one of the best route runners in the game.
He's Diggs.
One of the best route runners in the game.
You talking about Adam or talking about Justin Jefferson?
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about what's his name?
Okay, Thielen's cold.
Adam Thielen.
Thielen's cold. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Look, I'll give you another one. Aaron Jones, 18 touchdowns. Right, you're a touchdown guy. Right?
Yes.
He does it again.
Better than Christian McCaffrey?
Right now, no. But if he does it again next year, we're gonna have a conversation.
My head hurts.
What? But you keep forgetting, man. Like, yo, you keep saying DJ Moore, right? You keep saying DJ Moore. Tim board up the quarterback play. 17 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. You talk about holding the rock, correct? You said that's why they didn't win the games. If you did a Jameis Winston, pretty much 30 for 30, you lost ball games. That's what he did in a short time span. He went 17 for 16. Every time he threw a touchdown, he threw an interception.
Wait, hold up. Let's who look up some stats for me real quick. So I know he had an off year. Last year. Alvin Kamara.
Miles had better numbers than Alvin Kamara.
What?
Miles had better numbers than Alvin Kamara.
Okay, I said he had an off year, right? But a year ago, hang on, wait a minute. But a year ago, people had this dude knocking on number one's door.
Similar to Christian McCaffrey. Don't the numbers look.
But he's done it 2 years in a row.
14 last year. Okay, look at Christian McCaffrey last year compared to this year. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's really
last year. You talking about last year numbers?
Hold up, guys.
Yeah, you're right. He got better, which is crazy because he had 1,800 yards. Yeah, 1,800 yards. This year he had 2,400 yards.
Yeah, well,
and the funny part, he only fumbled the ball one time. My bad.
We got to.
I'm just giving some. Let's move on.
Yeah, we got some other things. Yeah, we got some other things we got to touch on. Let's save this argument. We'll come back to this. Let's say week 5 or 6 of the season. We'll see if anyone's.
Oh, we're revisiting this.
Oh, when they're 1-4.
This is good content. Absolutely.
And Christian McCaffrey has 300 catches. They're 1-4. Okay. That's right. Christian McCaffrey killing it. My fantasy team's doing well, but 1-4. Okay. Good job. See, if they give me that chip, CMC.
That being said, something we wanted to touch on.
Give my fantasy team anytime.
Go
ahead, Ryan.
Something we wanted to touch on that we haven't done as a podcast yet, because I'm not sure. I can't speak for. I've never talked to Tariq or Reese about this, but I know Tim, Bruce, and myself definitely. We gamble. We like to bet. We like to play sports bets. I'll wait till Reek gets back. Reek, I was saying, I'm not sure if this is something you or Reese are into, but we're going to be touching on sports betting in the next segment. I'm not sure if
you must not know.
Guys. I don't really. It's for me. It's more about the picks. I don't do a whole lot.
No.
But I definitely know the fantasy part of it. Fantasy football is more for me. But I will tell you that football, as long as I have been, it's really hard not to know.
Right. No.
What teams are where.
I've come to you for advice on games. That being said, my man Tim, he's going to be most likely our resident in-house odds guy. He's going to be the one that gets the numbers on these things for us.
Of course,
he got the odds for teams to win the AFC, the NFC, and the Super Bowl. So we're just going to run down them and give our just short opinions. We're not going to go too deep into conversation. There's not much debate to go with this. Vegas sets the lines. There ain't nothing that we could say that's going to change any of that. So for the AFC, we went over the top 4. And then we put Tim provided 2 that he thought were good value that you could get good money on that have a chance to contend at least. The Chiefs, obviously, they're reigning AFC and Super Bowl champions. No surprise, they're plus 270 to win the AFC. It's the best odds. Breathing right down their necks right behind them. The Ravens at plus 340. This one was a big shock to me. But if you think about it, maybe it's not that surprising because there's after those top 2 teams in the AFC, there's a real fall off. These are kind of like dark times for the AFC. There's not too many good teams. It's the New England Patriots, the Tom Brady list, New England Patriots at plus 1,000. Number 4, another little surprise. The Pittsburgh Steelers at plus 1,100. And then
surprise me.
I
don't know at the 4th best odds though.
Because
Big Ben as old as he is.
When Big Ben is on.
Wait. Is this? Wait, can I ask you a question, Ryan? Is this the AFC only or all over?
AFC
only.
To win the AFC championship.
Okay.
Hey, hold on. These odds are from Fox Bet also, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, so that's who I bet through. So
when Big Ben is on, that team is different.
Yeah, he wasn't on when Le'Veon Bell left. I'm sorry.
I know.
Go ahead.
Thank you. You know what? See? Thank you.
Tim's value picks for the AFC, and I like them. And I meant to shout this guy out the other day. He's one of the Chargers fans we know, Kyle Tees. He's been showing some love for the podcast. Shout out to him. He's got the Chargers at plus 2,000 to win the AFC, and the Broncos, who I think had one of the best off seasons in football, plus 2,500. And there's no one else really worth noting.
Real quick,
for the
Ryan,
AFC. If Cam
goes to San Diego, go to the Chargers, you think the odds go down or go higher, like to more win the chip?
No, not necessarily. Only because if
odds make up there.
I mean,
I knew I was gonna do that. I knew I was gonna do that.
Well, no. I'm not. This isn't my personal preference because you guys, I've made. I like Cam Newton. I think he definitely deserves a starting job in the NFL. As an odds maker, they're looking at a quarterback that hasn't played since 2018, who has injury problems, who's no younger than when the last time he played.
He's actually better than Tyrod. Like he just is.
Yeah, but I mean, is he better than Justin Herbert? Because we don't know what Justin Herbert is yet.
You know what, Ryan?
Well, yes, he is.
Justin
Herbert hasn't played a football game, guys. I'm sorry. My hat's on backwards again.
Wait, stop.
They about to make me curse again.
First of all, look.
Put your head on backwards.
Listen. Shit. Let's call a spade a spade. If Cam went to the Chargers, and he even is a shell of what he was, with those weapons, that's bananas.
That's what I'm saying.
But hang on, let me finish. But you guys doing that little chuckle at the Justin Herbert thing is a little ridiculous. Because remember something.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. Remember, yes, it definitely is. Because when a rookie QB gets in, right, with a team that of that caliber, with the weapons they have and that defense they have, the best thing might be for that team is a rookie QB. They can run the ball, right, and he'll make the smart decisions and get the ball out of his hands to his playmakers. And you guys all know this. You're
assuming that he is going to make the smart decisions. He's a rookie.
Exactly.
Hang on. Let me ask you a question though.
Go ahead.
I'm not just assuming for fun. Okay. I watched the kid in college.
Okay.
The kid is very efficient.
That's college.
And the kid's very talented. Now, again, I just gave you guys your Cam Newton thing. I gave it to you. I said Cam Newton. So what? Cam Newton did the same shit in college. What's the big deal? Stop it.
I got a question. Cam Newton won. Hold on, time out. Cam Newton won a championship, right?
He got a Heisman.
What did Justin Herbert do?
Don't say I don't care.
You should care. You just compared.
Stop.
You compared.
Hold
on. Oregon was a shit team. Oregon was a shit team.
They were not good when he was there.
Holy shit! They had a chance this year to go in and win a national championship.
So
Justin Herbert fucked that up.
Did they make the playoffs?
Wait.
Because of Justin Herbert.
Wait,
facts, bro. Did you not watch the games?
So
they definitely did.
Real quick,
Justin didn't show up. Oh my God!
Real quick,
Arizona, he didn't show up, guys.
Yeah, real quick. There's been no indication that Justin Herbert won't be the starter week 1. I don't know why this. Yeah, Justin. They didn't pick Justin Herbert at number 6 to sit when he's not injured.
Right, which is fine. We're not saying that he's bad. We're saying that you're comparing a rookie to a person. Cam Newton.
I didn't say that.
No one did. I actually you asked a question and I asked if shift the odds, and plain and simple, if it's going to move the needle, it might move from 2,000 to 1,900, but Cam Newton's not moving the needle from 2,000 to 1,000.
So what you're telling me
sounds like that's what you guys want me to say.
So what I'm saying is you're telling me that the team might be much better with Cam Newton than it would be with Justin Herbert. That's what you're saying.
But you don't. Justin Herbert could step on the field and be a top 5 quarterback. You don't. I'm not saying this isn't me saying that Justin Herbert's going to be a top 5 quarterback. Don't tie that to me.
See, but could you do that, man? You do that because you do that.
Yeah.
You do that. Now, here's what I'm saying. Name the last rookie that came in to be a top 5 quarterback. You can't say, well, he might be. Don't do that.
I'm not saying. I'm not saying he will be, but you don't know. He could be the exception. He could be the exception. There's a first for everything.
You know the league has been out for over 100 years, right?
What was that?
The league has been out for over 100 years. You tell me in history, when's the last time a top 5 quarterback came out the first year he came out in the draft? Just tell me.
Maybe Johnny Unitas.
Okay, if it's Johnny Unitas, when was that?
Stop.
19?
You're going stop. Guys, hold on. Stop. Go ahead, Tim.
Get the fuck out of here.
If you think that the Chargers now are like a 10-6 team, right?
Say it again?
If you add Cam Newton, what's going to change? They're still not better than the top 3 teams, so the odds won't go up.
Facts.
That's the other part to look at.
Wait, better than
that
who?
being,
Chiefs,
that being said,
Ravens,
You said top
still not-
3.
Chiefs, Ravens.
Well,
Who's the other team?
Patriots. They're
Well,
better than the Patriots.
Patriots.
They're better than them right now. To be honest with you.
Okay.
Might
Well,
be-
they still don't come close to the other two, so I don't see it changing the odds at all.
and
I don't know, bro. They might be close to Baltimore. We can. Because
real
you
quick.
can do this almost
But
the
how
same
do you know? You haven't seen Cam win a game in like 2.5 years.
those Patriots odds are going to go down a lot. You got to think they're not really updating these too much because there's not really anything going on right now with the whole lockdown and everything.
Or they think Cam going to the Patriots.
I was about to say that.
That's
Right.
true
Right.
too. We don't know where
Right.
he's going.
Right.
Yeah,
One thing
yeah.
I will say, Rye, the reason why I personally think the odds aren't changing with that is because they think Belichick has something up his sleeve. That's what I feel like.
Usually does.
People aren't
So
idiots, bro.
that's what they call a bookie buffer. So that's Vegas'
true.
way of
Yeah.
ensuring that
I
they're
know.
not. If Belichick does have something up his sleeve, that they ain't going to take a big hit.
Like the Bucs,
Any bigger of a hit.
like the Bucs trade Brady back to New England. No, I'm just kidding.
Bookie. Our little Bookie Ryan. There you go.
No.
That
Just
being
don't break
said,
my arms.
as you know, our rooting interests lie in the NFC. So this one's a little spicy.
baby.
Should be a little spicy.
Spicy is
Uh,
the word. Hot.
So the best odds to win the NFC at no surprise to me, the 49ers at plus 460. You got this. This one doesn't make too much sense. The Saints at plus. The Saints at plus 575. The Bucks at plus 625. The Cowboys at plus 750.
And here we go.
The Eagles at plus 1,000.
Take the bet, y'all. Just do it now.
The Seahawks at plus 1050. And Tim's value pick, he only had one for the NFC. And you guys, if you've been paying attention, I'm very high in this team, and I love this. And maybe I'll put a little quick, small something on it.
Oh,
The Cardinals at plus 2,200.
Wait,
Oh,
what?
Jesus. Yeah.
Wait, is that a surprise? Are you like, I want to bet that Bruce surprise? Or are you
Wait
like,
a minute. No. So they're literally ahead of the Vikings and the Packers.
No.
That's a value pick.
We did the
Just a
That's a
value.
value pick.
Okay.
Look at last year. Look at last year. I guarantee you at the beginning of the season, the Niners were somewhere around the Cardinals.
Yep.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, you're right.
You think, really? I thought they follow. I thought they go higher with Jimmy G.
Hey, look, the NFC West is
real quick.
the same.
Real quick, I could give another. I think we talked about this before, but another value pick for sports fans. The Jets over under 6 wins. I'm taking the over. I think the Jets are not a bad football team. Yeah. I mean, they're going to get better from that. They're going to improve from last
and that
year.
division's up for grabs. It really is.
Yeah, bro.
That's true. I'll give you that. It is up for grabs. It's not a lock for anybody. Not even Belichick. It's not a lock. No.
So, and listen, and another thing too is, and I haven't really looked at them yet, but I've been told to take a peek. The MVP odds. There's a lot of really spicy MVP odds right now.
Yeah,
too.
Vegas actually just dropped updated odds about 20 minutes ago on the
Yeah, that's
MVP.
crazy.
You know who the third? You know who the third favorite is to win MVP? Dak Prescott.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
Yeah.
I'm disgusted.
I'm just saying.
It's a
I don't
joke.
agree with that. But
Jerry.
Right, you're gonna bet it.
Dak
You're
put
gonna
up
bet it,
40,000
Ryan.
yards.
no, I'm not a Dak Prescott guy personally. I think Andy Dalton's going to take the reins, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, let's go over to the Super Bowl odds. At no surprise, Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs are the favorites to repeat as Super Bowl champions. They're
As
plus
they
600.
should be. As they should be.
The Ravens, I think that Vegas is just slobbing on their knob at this point. They're plus 650. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see that with the Ravens. Way too high. It's a sucker bet. People think, oh yeah, the Ravens plus 650. They'll be lucky to make it out of the second round once again, especially with the 17 format. They're not getting a bye.
Let me just say this though.
That's so disrespectful.
The other night when I said the facts that I spit about Lamar Jackson, I will say one thing.
Oh, you better recant this statement.
I'm not recanting shit. Listen, but remember at the end of my statement though,
Yes,
I said he's gonna after the first season.
You said he's going to improve.
No, after the first year, okay, he needed to fix his accuracy, right? And he needed to fix a few little things that he cleaned up, right? Like not trying to be a one. Anyway, so he did that in the second season of his second season. I mean, he led the league in touchdown passes.
Yes, he
now,
did.
my biggest issue was the playoffs, and I made that very clear.
Yes, you did.
If he takes another step this year, That might not be a terrible bet. I'm just saying.
No, you make good arguments. If he can throw outside the hashes
and
make the part of the game.
And they went and added a little speed to Hollywood Brown.
Yes, they did.
They went and got one of the best backs coming out of here, J.K. Robbins.
Not J.K.
Robbins.
I said Robbins.
J.K. Robbins.
What we have ice cream? We have
I know. I was thinking about.
First of all, wait a minute. First of all,
this tequila I got over here is.
There's people that do this professionally mess up, all right?
I mean, that's true. And I look at them like they're terrible too. Now I'm just messing up. I mess some names too.
Hold on. Let me round out this list of Super Bowl odds, though.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
At plus 900, we got the reigning NFC champions, the Super Bowl 49ers.
It's too low.
At plus 1,200.
Too high.
Again, this is another one I kind of don't get. They're a good team. I just don't think they're real Super Bowl contenders, and they do have the fourth best odds apparently. The New Orleans Saints plus 1,200. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at plus 1,400.
No surprise.
The Dallas Cowboys at plus 1,500. And rounding out the top list of 7 we have is the Philadelphia Eagles at plus 2,000.
It is so high on this Cowboys. It's ridiculous.
Personally, if I'm filling out my ticket today, I really like the Chiefs coming out of the AFC. I think they're perennial AFC champions until Pat Mahomes says otherwise. Until he decides he's ready to stop.
Agree.
Or that he gets hurt again.
Listen, he come back and almost win MVP. You got Bruce here said he played better than Lamar, and he got hurt for 2 games. He said he should have been MVP.
Shit. Yeah, shit.
Lamar's been healthy so far too. You never know.
Yeah. Right. Lamar might get hurt. You can't run the ball that many times and not get hurt eventually. It's going to happen.
So I think my ticket would look like I'd have Chiefs winning the AFC. Right now,
go ahead. Say the Cowboys. Go ahead.
No, and real shit. Like I'm at a toss-up. Like Cowboys at plus 750 is good odds. You parlay that on a 2-team parlay, that's a nice payout at plus 270 and plus 750. So yeah, I think I'd go right now. I'd either go Chiefs Bucks or Chiefs Cowboys. I'd have to run that through on Fox Bets to see what that pays out.
Every year there's this side on the Cowboys. Every single year,
you know,
and they get disappointed.
They were like top 5. They were top 5 last year too, and they didn't win the division.
Every year, I feel it. They do it on purpose because they know that people are going to bet on the Cowboys. That's why.
But listen. They've improved. Right, I understand where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for. There's nothing inside of me that's happy to make that pick, but you know what I like more than the Eagles? I like the other type of green, and that's money. So that's where I see the money at, and that's what. So I'm going to do what lines my pocket. That being said, Cowboys ain't winning the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Pat Mahomes ain't allowing that to happen. The Chiefs blow them out by a minimum of 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. So I would pound that Chiefs plus 600 line to win the Super Bowl.
The only way Dallas gets to the Super Bowl is if Zeke gets 2,000 yards rushing.
Let's reel something in real quick, fellas. Let's just talk about something. And I think Pat Mahomes is superhuman. I really do.
I think you're gonna say what I'm thinking, Bruce. But go ahead.
But let's get this out of the way real quick. He's about to make $200 million. Okay,
that's right.
He better win a Super Bowl this year, because this whole stuff, it's his until he says otherwise, is a bunch of horse shit. Just flat out. I don't give a flying shit if I don't care what he is. He could be the guys from Space Jam that picked on those poor NBA players. They got the NBA players' powers. The mob stars. It don't matter. Once they pay him $200 million, what are they going to pull money out of their cheeks?
They got to start letting some people go.
But here's the thing, though. So what Ryan was saying is that it's his conference to win because there's no one to beat them besides Baltimore, which is fine.
But the team, after this season or next season, he better win this year. Because when they pay him $200 million, they're not going to be able to keep all the stats, bro.
Hold up. And this is something not enough people are talking about. I don't want to open up this can of worms. We're actually going to – we'll parlay this into another episode. Don't rule out Pat Mahomes doing what Tom Brady did for all those years and taking a little bit of a pay cut so he could keep a winning team around himself.
Yeah, no shot.
Absolutely a shot. Pat Mahomes is making the most of any NFL player on endorsement deals right now in the league. He can afford –
Doesn't matter. Here's why. It's the players' union, man. The players' union will kill him.
Here's why you don't do that. Here's why you don't do that now.
You mess up other people.
For 2 reasons. When Tom Brady does it, he also got extended like twice in like his first 4 years. So he got paid extra early. 1. 2, you don't do that because of the players' union, because you have to set the market for the next in line. You can't do that. If you set it down, then you screw the other quarterbacks in line, the two below us, the Justin Herberts that come 4 years down the line. You have to push it up because if not, you're giving the owners more money. So you can't.
He's already made it clear. Listen,
and
his agent already made it right. Yes, exactly. His agent already made it clear he wants to be the top paid QB in the history of the league.
Yeah,
in the history of the league.
You're Joe Burrow, and you go for a contract demand, and they say, "Well, Lamar's the best quarterback in the league," or not Lamar.
Well, Pat Mahomes took a pay cut, right?
He didn't take the most money, so why should we give you the most money?
Right,
facts.
And the key thing is that we're forgetting all this, that he doesn't have the girlfriend Giselle or a wife named Giselle.
That's
if
true.
Giselle, 300 million.
Billionaire.
She worth 300 million.
By the way, just
no, she's actually a billionaire.
Hold up, real quick. I think you might have to research that, bro. I still don't think anybody beats Brady's endorsements with Under Armour. I don't think anybody does.
Under Armour.
I'm saying post Super Bowl champion Pat Mahomes he's projected to pay. So he doesn't have that now. I should have applied.
Yeah, like Dak Prescott gets
he's
a lot.
He's projected to pass every other athlete in the NFL with endorsements.
Was it Pantene or Head and Shoulders? Head and Shoulders paying a lot.
Listen. Reese is projected to look like the singer that sang "Sweet Lady," but he don't really look like him, right? So the fact of the matter is that he can be projected. He can be projected all he wants, right? I'm just saying he doesn't lead in that case. When they pay him $200 million, they might lose Kelsey. They might lose Tariq Hill. If that team lose Tariq Hill, oh man.
No, wait.
Whole different ball game.
So here's the thing. How do you know they're not grooming Mecole Hardman to be the next Tariq Hill?
Right. Hardman's ass.
100%. No.
You know what? You know what? Now he ass
he's
now.
Nah, Hardman's not.
You know what?
He's not.
Check this out. Check this out.
Hey,
Wait,
I got no quarrels with you, man. If you listen to this, no quarrels.
Yeah. No, I have a problem. Listen. And this is coming from, and I'll go to Tim with this too. Okay, there's a difference in a Tyreek Hill and a McCall Hardman or whatever Hardman. What is it?
Mecole Hardman.
Yeah. Now we can't get the name right.
Yeah, forget it. I don't want to say his shit right. Listen, okay. There's a difference. Tyreek Hill, he makes fast people look slow. Okay,
that's true.
That dude is ridiculous. He is a walking touchdown. Okay.
Right.
A walking touchdown.
Right.
I didn't see that from Hardman. So they can groom his ass all they want. Yeah, that just don't happen overnight.
Hey,
real quick, let's save it. Hold up. Let's save that conversation because we're running a little long here. So before we shut this down, I told you guys beforehand. I'm gonna put on my green for a minute. Something I try not to do in this podcast. I'm gonna show my fandom for a second. But this doesn't just apply to the Philadelphia Eagles. It applies to, I'm pretty sure, all fan bases because it happens everywhere. It's very bad in Philadelphia. And if you guys don't mind, I'm just going to mute you for a second because I just want to go at it. And that is the fans marrying players that are on teams without considering what's best for the team. The prime example is Carson Wentz and Philadelphia Eagles fans. I like Carson Wentz. I'm not rooting against him. But picking Jalen Hurts at 53 wasn't an accident. He wasn't to be a perennial backup. It wasn't to trade later for another second-round pick. And people love that theory that, you just bought a future second-round pick with him. That's not the case here. People have to learn that just because you like the guy doesn't mean you're right. Just because that you think he is it doesn't mean he is it. The organization clearly has a different idea of what's going on. And I can't speak for the 49ers because I don't pay attention enough to the 49ers. I don't know if there's anyone – maybe Jimmy G's kind of the same thing. There might be 49ers fans that attach themselves to him. I'll bring Reese in for a second.
Fuck no! My bad. You can leave me out here. You can leave me out. My mama, she was calling me again. My bad. But go ahead.
No, but no, it's – I'm trying to wrap how to say it without sounding like an idiot, but I really can't wrap. It's hard to wrap my head around. It really is.
Right? Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we see and listen, Eagle fans take a lot of heat. They do. Okay, and I don't totally agree that it's a slam dunk that this whole thing with Carson Wentz is done because they drafted Hurts. I will say this: if Wentz gets hurt or well, in this case, we're going to say injured, right?
Real quick, God forbid he goes down for any reason at all this season and
Yeah,
Jalen
I know.
Hurts steps on that field and does anything remotely productive. Because guess
Yes.
what? You saw what Elliott Shore-Parks put out. After year 2 of this contract, there's not much money. It's very easy to get out of that contract.
I wish I would have
They
reported
could
that
drop
first.
him like a bad habit.
I wish I would have
Yes.
reported. If you guys remember, I brought that up before anybody even reported that.
Yeah, we
So I
talked
wish I
about
would've-
that. Yeah.
I wish I would have reported it first. No, but anyway, look, I agree with you, Ryan, to a
Yeah,
degree.
guys.
Like,
Guys, I
Yes.
just saw the Raiders are bringing in Princeton Mukamura.
wow, that's big for them.
Wow.
He's still a solid player.
Breaking news.
Okay, all right. I saw Logan Ryan signing with the Jets too. Is that still going on?
Damn, I wanted him.
Yeah. So, but Ryan, I agree with you though, Ryan. I think that what happens though is one thing about Philadelphia and other places too, right?
We get married to the player, and I understand. So here's where I'm going to go on my little tangent at, because you got an earful of it earlier. And I'm going to step out of football for a second, because we like all sports here. We all
Don't
listen
mention names though. No names.
I got to mention this one.
No,
And I'm going to cite the city of Philadelphia specifically. The Philadelphia 76ers with Ben Simmons. This fan base has no reason to like Ben Simmons whatsoever. He's arrogant. He has that whole attitude. I don't have to shoot threes. I do enough as is. Well, I'm an all-star. I don't have to shoot threes. Yes, you do. Expand your game. And I'm a Ben Simmons guy. I like Ben Simmons. But the city has no reason to be loyal to him. This is me going in more towards Philly fans in general. And they do it with the Eagles. They're married to the player. I got flack for saying that I thought Ertz was overrated. Do I think Ertz is a phenomenal player? Yes.
Got a good point with that one. You got a great point with that one. And I like Ertz.
He's a phenomenal player, but do not pay him what he's going to be asking for.
He's not explosive. Like when you compare him to Kittle and Kelsey.
Listen. But listen, real quick though.
Christian
And I
McCaffrey
agree with that. Just on another topic with the Ertz, not that. Listen.
Ertz is a phenomenal player that is going to be overvalued.
But Ertz catches everything. You guys act like every tight end in the league, every one, all of a sudden is a Kittle or you know.
No, I'm not saying that, because guess what? I think Dallas Goedert has a very good chance. If you make him your number one tight end,
yes,
he could do exactly what Ertz is doing and maybe more, because he blocks a little better and he can get more yak.
He's more talented.
After this year, he's probably gone.
How many?
No, they're gonna pay him, I think, and it's gonna be Howie's. It might be what leads. If Howie Roseman does that, that could be the writing on the wall for Howie Roseman's tenure with the Philadelphia Eagles to end.
Well, here's the thing: isn't Kittle next? Isn't Kittle next year? He's supposed to get paid, right?
No, absolutely not.
No, Ertz is next.
Isn't Kittle supposed to get paid?
Ertz is next.
Next year, ain't it, Tim?
Yeah, but they're working on it now.
Yeah, they're working on it now.
So he's going to set the market. So if you pay Ertz more than Kittle, that's a problem. I'm sorry, and I like Ertz.
Kittle probably $15 million a year.
That's a problem. You cannot play Ertz $15 million a year when you got Dallas Goedert to give you.
Real quick, listen to me. You're not going to pay Ertz after this year. He's still under contract for 2 more years. You're not going to pay Ertz after this year. I might be wrong about that. It might be 3 more years. He's still under contract for a few more years, but he wanted a new deal. Right. You're not going to pay him. You can't afford him. Okay? You're not going to be able to afford Ertz. You're going to have to swing some type of deal with Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
And how he's going to do his bottom basement BS that he always does with these younger players, and they're going to keep him for a couple more years. That's what's going to happen. And the fact is I agree with you though. But keep going.
So real quick, and this is just to hammer it home. I was a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles long before Carson Wentz came along, and I'm going to be a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles long after Carson Wentz is gone. I don't care if Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts, Nick Foles, Kevin Kolb, Donovan McNabb, Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, Doug Peterson, anyone, you name it, Ron Jaworski. I don't care who the quarterback is. I'm a fan of the team. Ty Detmer, you name it. What is best for this team is what I'm a fan of. And right now, Carson Wentz through 6 playoff. I'm sorry. How many appearances are there now?
You guys get close. You good. You close. It's close.
He's played 2 series of football in the playoffs. In a Super Bowl run. In a run where Nick Foles had to come in again. And they probably would have went to the Super Bowl again if Alshon Jeffrey didn't drop that ball that went right through the diamond. Right through the diamond.
Yeah.
Now, listen, real quick.
The best availability is availability in football.
Stop the bullshit. Stop with that. We're not going to talk about. He played 16 games this year. We're not.
Hold up. I'm not done.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
He's and now.
Spicy.
I
fucked up my camera.
I get the whole concussion thing was dirty by Jadeveon Clowney, but as Reese and Tim have said before, it's a part of the game. It happens. He puts himself in these situations where things like that happen. I'm not putting the Rams injury was a freak of nature thing with the ACL. He took a bad dive. That was a horrible dive into the end zone. You don't put yourself. He put himself in that position for his knees to get clamped.
Oh, that was his fault.
No, I'm not saying it was, but it kind of was.
Hang on. So
there's a better way to take that dive.
Hang on. So Ryan, I'm gonna give you. I can't
fault him for the touchdown one. I can fault him for last year diving for no reason. But the Rams one, you're trying to score a touchdown. You can't fault him for that.
So
you can't fault him for that.
So to piggyback on Ryan. I'm gonna give you a name that you probably be shocked about compared the two, but there are similar comes injuries. Carson Wentz is like Joel Embiid. He's like Joel Embiid.
Absolutely.
He is like Joel Embiid. Here's why. Joel Embiid, we all know if he was healthy and played 75, 80 games a year,
Sixers would have had a championship by now.
He might have a championship, or he damn sure the most dominant player in the league. But we say he keeps getting hurt. I love Carson. I'm probably slightly behind Bruce as a Carson fan, maybe a snitch.
And I've noticed Bruce is softening on the idea of him actually being replaced.
Well, because he understands that he understands that we like him, but he does get hurt. Some people just have the propensity to get hurt. Now, that's not saying I don't want him to play, and that's not saying I don't think he's the best chance of us getting to the Super Bowl. I think if Carson plays 16 games this year, he got a chance with MVP. Because last time he had speed, he was MVP until he got hurt. But that's what I'm saying. But the point is, go ahead.
Real quick, let me clarify this. There's nothing in my body that's rooting against Carson Wentz. He's our best bet to win a Super Bowl right now, absolutely. If Jalen Hurts steps in, it's probably another year or two of waiting. Assuming that he works out as an NFL quarterback. That being said, Carson's in the hot seat. And I said it earlier.
Not yet. He's not. Go ahead.
I called it earlier. You agreed with it because you said the same thing. This is a perfect year for Wentz.
Yeah,
we got to go to. So not only does he have to play 16 games because he does,
like last year.
Yeah, we have to go to the playoffs.
He has to play,
and he has to play a full game in the playoffs. And you know what? I at this point, because he made it in for 2 series last year, I think this time he actually has to win a playoff game.
Here's the thing. If he plays in the playoffs, people are going to give him a pass because he played. Like, he might not even win, but say, listen, he played. And I hate that. But he might get a pass. You know what? He played the Seattle Seahawks. They just can't beat the Seahawks. Or he played the 49ers. It was a good team, but he just can't do it. But he gets a pass because he played.
Hold up.
Unfortunately, that's how it is right now.
Hold up. Hold up. Real quick. I'm going to address 2 things you said. And I did agree with you that Carson's on the hot seat this year. To a degree. I'm not going to say he's on the hot seat. I'm going to say that he needs to show us something this year.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you that Carson has 2 years, maybe 3 tops to win a Super Bowl. Because they believe in Jalen Hurts the way I think they believe in Jalen Hurts. He has 3 years. Because by that 4th year.
Real quick, because I'm going to tie into you because I agree with you on Jalen Hurts. We're saying Carson. How about Jalen? He played in Alabama and Oklahoma, who were 2 powerhouse college football teams. He was successful in both.
Stop. Let me finish my point before you start rambling on about Jalen Hurts. We're talking about the guy who's actually the starting QB right now. Okay. Carson Wentz, his rookie year. Okay. Because I'm tired of the bullshit. I really am. You want to rant? You got to rant. His rookie year, he got hurt playing behind guys that were bagging groceries.
That's right.
Week 4 of the preseason.
I agree.
Okay? He didn't miss a regular season game.
No, he didn't.
Okay?
No, he didn't.
He played with Jordan Matthews.
Green Beckham.
Exactly. You know, I posted that on the Eagles page and somebody at the NFL page, and they didn't even know who he was. Okay.
And Nelson Aguilar.
And
Josh Huff. I think Huff was there too. Was Huff there too?
Easy. I was wrong on him. Easy. All right. So listen. All right. The fact is,
Josh Huff is going to be the man.
No, that's enough. Everybody's wrong on something. I'm not wrong real often. But back to my effing rant. Let me finish. Right. he played behind a very shoddy offensive line. There was a lot of injuries.
Yep.
The following year,
Yep.
okay, Jason Peters was line changing. He was coming off the field every couple drives, and I love JP.
Yep.
He was coming off the field every couple drives.
Yep.
Carson made plays
Yep.
on his own.
That's right.
On his own. I mean, look at the Redskins play in 17. And there were 6 people on top of him.
Yep.
He broke out and ran for 20 yards.
Yep.
A fluke play like him diving for a touchdown on another play where the pocket collapsed and nobody got open and he rolled out.
Right.
It's not his fault. All right?
No, I'm agreeing. I'm not going to say that's
Listen, I'm not going to be an apologist, but I just want to point out the fact that he stood in there with a torn ACL and MCL
and threw a touchdown.
Stood in the pocket, threw a touchdown.
Yes, he did.
And that's still, in my opinion, that's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in sports.
Right. So the next step I'm going to tell you, the next year he comes back, he breaks his back on what they believe, right?
You could say adrenaline, Tim. When you show me someone else that have done that, I'll believe that.
I was just about to say that. Real quick, though. Hang on. Hold on.
I'm about to say, Hines Ward played without a damn ACL for I don't know how many years.
Hold on. Time out.
Yeah, let Bruce finish his point because we got to shut it down after this.
It's my turn real quick. Look, I'm telling you that the following year, Wentz came back. He broke his back, and they still don't know when. Wentz came back too quick from his knee injury.
Yes, he did.
Point blank period.
Facts.
He got hurt because of that. Nick Foles stepped in. Now, look, I'll forever be grateful to Nick Foles. Appreciate you, bro. Enjoy Chicago. It's cold out there, whatever the case may be. Fact is, if Alshon catches that ball, I'm a sad-ass dude because I'm looking at Nick Foles and his mediocre ass week in and week out right now.
Right. And Bruce, you won't tell them why Carson Wentz had to come early off of the injury. Tell them why, Bruce. Tell them
because
why.
Nobody was trying to face Nick Foles start week 1. Because if Nick Foles starts week 1, we don't even make the playoffs that year.
Don't talk to him, Bruce. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that.
He did start week 1.
Right. And he was terrible.
4 games.
He started week 1. He was terrible. That's why they said, Carson, you got to get back. But hurry up, Carson.
They won the game. That being said, though, guys, we will have.
Finish my point.
He got your championship.
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. He did play the 2 best games, but like I said, if he finishes that, he literally might be the starting QB of the Eagles right now. But he's gone. They picked the more talented guy over him. Now I'm gonna tell you flat out, Carson Wentz has played behind a lot of average players. Like there's guys and receivers that some teams wouldn't even dream to have. Nelson Aguilar might lead every single league, including the LBFFA in drops. Everywhere combined. When you combine them, that bastard dropped everything, including a baby, according to the guy that fired. The fact is Carson's done a lot at times with very little. Practice squad players, etc. My point being is, look, Jalen Hurts is a great leader. He's got a lot to work on. But if Carson don't do his part this year and next year, you might have a new QB in the city of Philadelphia. But to say about the marry the fans thing, and I'm gonna leave it like this, then we marry our QBs. We do. Okay? We do.
It's not just the quarterbacks. It's every position. If the player's likable, they marry him.
That's not always true.
That's not true. Y'all ain't married Donovan McNabb. I hated that motherfucker.
That's not
his fault. That's his fault, bro.
No, but that's not
you making this go longer, bro. We're trying to wrap this up. Don't open that up.
Wrap it up. Listen.
Open it up.
Real quick, listen. It's not all players. It's not. But I'm going to tell you like this. There's one exception to what you said, okay? There was back in the mid 2000s, they let go of a guy who there was people in the city that considered fandom, and I personally don't give a flying shit what you say or anybody else says. They let go of Brian Dawkins 2 years too early. Okay, that was the one time where we are allowed to be married to somebody because he was everything to this city.
Well, he's our Hall of Famer.
Right, but Reggie White was another one. I didn't want to leave. They didn't offer him a contract.
Oh, my God.
There's different things about the city of Philadelphia. Yes, we love our players, but you got to also understand that this city, they pay a lot of money to go watch them games.
And we know what we're talking about.
So we love those players. Yeah, we're passionate. But I do agree. Stop it. Stop. Stop. Fuck all that. Right? The fact of the matter is I do agree.
I want to say something because when I heard all of this, y'all talk about how well y'all did in the draft, and y'all talk about the players that Carson didn't have. It seems the fact that y'all don't know how to draft. You say you have people bagging groceries.
Oh, no, you're very correct.
So why do y'all
up until this year,
it's supposed to be the guy? Because this might go long. Y'all keep thinking all these guys is going to be the guy once we have speed.
I think Howie.
So hype. Y'all think you're going to be better than the Cowboys. But y'all saying the player that you got in the draft, and you once again.
Reese, I hate you for this right now because you open up a can of worms and we're trying.
I know.
Bruce, don't answer it. We're gonna open up the next episode with this because we're gonna have to touch back on this.
Wait, hang on for a second.
I got one thing to say. Hold on.
I got one last thing to say before we close. Go ahead.
I know a quarterback went to the Super Bowl the year after he tore his ACL.
Oh,
Jimmy G.
Oh, damn right.
And that run had nothing to do with Jimmy G. Just saying.
And you know it didn't. The boy had 8 pass attempts.
Hold up. Let Bruce get this out so we can shut this down.
Let me finish. Reese, first of all, don't use that. You're using something against what I said with Carson in a wrong way. Okay. Those guys they picked were undrafted free agents. Those guys were third string linemen. They brought in for fillers in the preseason. Okay, that's a little silly. But had the Eagles drafted, great, not at all positions. Okay, but I will tell you that this year, I got to give them credit. They took some shots at some guys that I think they have plans for, and I think it could pay off. Do I think they should have drafted Justin Jefferson over Jalen Rager? Yes. Do I think they should have drafted Jeremy Chin over Jalen Hurts? Yeah, you're right, I am. But in 2-3 years, if Jalen Hurts comes anything close to Russell Wilson, anything near him, or anything better, if he's better than Carson Wentz, we'll be saying this no more.
All right, go ahead, Ron. Hurry up.
Yeah, that being said, we're going to shut this down. We definitely went a little longer than we had originally intended.
A little spicy.
Yeah, so listen, we appreciate the support, guys. As you know, you can not only listen, you can listen on YouTube as well as now Spotify, and hopefully by the end of the week or by the time this episode's up, even Apple Podcasts. That being said, we can please continue to give us your feedback. Remember to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube.
Yes.
And please follow us on Spotify too. You can find us simply by going searching The Football Guys, and I threw an apostrophe in there between the Y and the S to make it easier to find us. You could also find all that information through our Instagram and Twitter at Football Guys Pod. There it is right now. If you're watching the video on YouTube, that is our Spotify code. That being said, I'm Ryan. He's Reek. He's Reese. He's Bruce. He's Tim. We are The Football Guys. Until next time.